Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and Dragonflight patch 10.1 is fast approaching, arriving soon in just 7 days, with the seasonal content kicking off a week later. Featuring a new underground raid of Aberrus, the new seasonal Mythic Plus dungeons, and a brand new season for PvP. This leaves us with very little time left when it comes to choosing which class you're going to main during the Embers of Neltharion content update, and the decision isn't always easy. Recently, I've been getting messages from you guys asking me which class would I suggest for a potential main going forward, and which classes are looking like the safest choice so far. But even with the patch a week away, this question is still difficult to answer. With the class tuning nowhere near final, it is difficult to rank all of these playstyles based on performance alone. And patch 10.1 is full of new class changes, from talent adjustments to spec revamps, and a ton of specific changes for PvE and PvP endgame content. Initially, I decided to play it safe and prepare a few classes all at once, to give myself as many viable options as possible before I settle in on my next main. Today, I wanted to go over the classes that I've been able to narrow it down to, focusing on those which draw me in the most, and go over the 6 classes which I found the most appealing so far based on my time spent on the PTR. But right before that, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding all of the newest Dragonflight updates and changes going forward. The first class that I could see myself main in the patch 10.1 is the trusty Death Knight, which retains its juggernaut status in Dragonflight and only grown stronger in Embers of Neltharion. While shy on mobility, Death Knights offer excellent control in both PvP and PvE content, while maintaining the resilience to magic damage. Previously, I found myself falling out of the spec of Frost during the early Dragonflight, though the playstyle has seen quite a bit of improvement. In patch 10.1, Frost returns as a draconic summoner, raining icy death upon your foes with massive frostworms. Their breath shatters enemies' defenses, which lets you decimate your targets with powerful obliterates. The Spec of Blood has always been one of my favorites, a solid tank focused on self-sustain, group control, and powerful defensive cooldowns. In patch 10.1, it only grows stronger. Through vicious combat, you could fortify your Vampiric Essence, which increases survivability. Vampiric Blood gained during combat benefits from all of your talented bonuses, with passives like Umbilicus Eternus providing even more self-sufficiency. Finally, we have the spec of Unholy, which retains its flavor as a necromantic commander, capable of empowering their mastery over the ghoulish minions and clawing shadows with every dark transformation. Overall, Death Knight has become a complete package, with the Spec of Frost gaining sufficient improvements, which makes the entire class of Death Knight a more viable option when it comes to choosing a main going forward. The class of Shaman still retains one of the best class talent trees in Dragonflight, capable of supporting your allies through buffs provided by totems, guarding your allies with group healing, and even passive mana regeneration. Enhancement becomes the master of combat in 10.1, with a new tier set bonus, able to focus on physical damage as its top priority, with new support to familiar talents which lets them ascend beyond their potential. Elemental embraces the thunder, becoming a stormcaster capable of ripping through foes with deadly lightning, while Restoration refreshes their allies with powerful healing waters, though mostly retaining a familiar, recently empowered gameplay. All Shaman specs also gain exciting new PvP talents to try in patch 10.1, as they get to burrow underground, either to escape danger or to knock enemies upwards when going on the offensive. Restoration masters their healing waters and is able to summon rains instantly, which empowers their tier set bonus. Elemental gains additional support with quickened casting speeds, while Enhancements gains additional Maelstrom weapon value. Each Shaman tier set finds new ways of refreshing the 3 familiar playstyles, which makes the class a lot more exciting to re-experience in both PvE and PvP endgame content. The class of Warrior continues to be incredibly fun whenever I spend any time on it over on the PTR, offering a solid base talent tree which continues to emphasize enhanced control, better player expression and agency, as well as a unique one-of-a-kind utility. with arms leveraging the new tier set bonus to focus on priority damage, becoming the ultimate executioner, which allows for a brand new playstyle to flourish. This new build is quite ambitious, though early numbers suggest strong potential, which allows for even more variety for arms warriors going forward. Fury warriors learn to channel their unending rage, capable of empowering the bloodthirst into a deadly strike after savaging their foes with a flurry of rampages, creating a playstyle where sustained damage eventually builds into an incredibly satisfying deadly blow, adding so much more burst to the playstyle. Finally, protection warriors are going on the offensive, turning Last Stand into a buff which empowers shield slams with frontal shockwaves, sundering all who challenge you, while greatly reducing its cooldown, which further fortifies this defensive powerhouse. The class of warrior continues to surprise me in Dragonflight, as patch 10.1 transforms the familiar playstyles with new tier set bonuses, where arms gains even more focus, while Fury embraces chaos, and protection gains even more stability to retain its reliability in group content. Recently, many have swapped over to main the class of Paladin, due to their recent success throughout Dragonflight, and based on my time with them on the PTR, it is hard to not make the switch going forward. The tank spec of Protection Paladin has been able to dethrone the Durable Warrior, becoming the must-have tank in higher difficulty endgame content, favored for their durability, group support skills, and control capabilities. Retribution is another spec that has gained even more time in the spotlight, with one of the best class revamps we've seen in recent expansions, gaining new cleave capabilities, greater defensive support, and a refined identity, while staying true to their classic playstyle of building and spending holy power. Finally, we have the spec of Holy Paladin, which I've grown fond of over my time on the patch 10.1 PTR. As someone who comes from a DPS background, I find myself drawn to healers like Mistweavers and Discipline Priests, which place high emphasis on dealing damage to heal their party, which is a playstyle I can quickly pick up and enjoy, especially in dungeons. The Holy Paladin melee build has gained a lot more support in Embers of Neltharion, where Judgments and Crusader Strike evenly heal your allies, while providing far more output inside of Crusader windows. This results in a highly effective playstyle, perfect for small party and game content, where the more damage you deal, the harder you heal, which fits me perfectly. Overall, Paladins have made massive gains over their time in Dragonflight, and patch 10.1 looks even brighter for this devout playstyle, making them extremely difficult to ignore when it comes to picking your main. The next class I could easily consider maining is the new expansion edition of the Evoker. Whenever I leave the Dragon Isles on my way to the Jade Temple, or the Shadowmoon Burial Grounds, or especially when traveling to Halls of Valor, I start to miss dragon riding, which is still one of the best, if not the best, features that's ever been added in a brand new expansion. The Dragthier get to take these dragon riding skills with them everywhere, able to soar through beautiful old world vistas, which makes traveling a lot more enjoyable. Devastation Evokers have seen a positive early reception so far, and is getting even more improvements in the patch 10.1, with this update redesigning the talent tree a bit to make sure the mainstay gameplay options are easier to reach, while reducing the cost of certain talent nodes to allow for more breathing room and choices when it comes to your capstone options, as well as a more intuitive version of causality which awards proper gameplay when it comes to cooldown reduction. And while my favorite spec of preservation gains a simple tier sub bonus, it still retains a lot of the depth when it comes to its overall playstyle, which is what drew me to the class of Evoker initially. Though this time around, both specs are neck to neck with one another, which makes the class a lot more enjoyable when it comes to re-exploring this playstyle in endgame content of Embers of Neltharion. Finally, we have my current main, the class of Rogue. The class challenge tree still holds up today, offering incredible control with Shadow Dance, resource recovery with Subtlety, and increased critical strike value through Cold Blood, while still retaining a vast array of mobility, survivability, and control-oriented nodes early on, which help you adapt to any situation. All three rogue specs are getting new tier set bonuses which hold a lot of potential, though no early numbers regarding their performance have been revealed publicly just yet, even with the patch 10.1 approaching so soon. However, these tier sets could open up new possibilities. Assassination rogues gain additional damage window after using Deathmark, where the damage of poisons is greatly increased. This could create a new opportunity to emphasize deadly toxins, which may open up new builds and gameplay possibilities. The Outlaw rogue tier set heavily emphasizes the gunslinger gameplay, prioritizing the ability of Between the Eyes, where builds focused on buff management have a much easier time executing. This new build could allow a return to form, before Outlaw rogues became similar to Subtlety through the use of Shadow Dance. Finally, the stealthy Subtlety rogue spec grows even stronger, with crit damage finishers greatly empowered. The new tier set focus on Symbols of Death could make certain talents more viable, since it synergizes greatly with criminally underrated options. Overall, even with the bugs found on PTR and without the final tuning, the playstyle of Rogue is super iconic. The freedom of movement, powerful defensives, and a playstyle which emphasizes guile, agility, and finesse is unique to the class of Rogue entirely. Whether you spend your time scouring dark corners, chasing down priority targets in PvP, or jumping straight into danger with the goal of cheating death itself, the class of Rogue does it flawlessly. The new major content update opens up new doors to reinvent yourself on a brand new main, so I would prefer to keep an open mind, and I plan on maintaining these 6 classes during the early weeks of patch 10.1, and try to make my final decision once the final tuning numbers are more set in stone. And that's going to be the full list of classes that I could consider maining in the patch 10.1. I want to thank all of you so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you already settled on which class you're going to main in 10.1? Or are you still waiting to make that big decision? And what are the chances that you are planning to main any of the classes listed in today's video? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.